Howdy y'all, welcome. Hope everybody's doing well out there so far. Let's go ahead and get into today's weather forecast. As you can see here on hump day, we got a slight risk for some severe weather from Virginia up into New Hampshire, with a marginal risk over here from Texas up into Arkansas, and from New Mexico up into Wyoming. Now, as far as the threats go today, there is no tornado threat to worry about, which is good, but there is a damaging wind threat within all the zones. And there's a large hail threat mainly over here from New Mexico up into Wyoming. Now, as we move off into Thursday, we got a couple marginal risk zones. One over here from South Carolina up into Virginia, and another one over here from New Mexico up into Wyoming yet again. As far as the threats go for tomorrow, we do not have a tornado threat again, but we do have a damaging wind threat, which is a low end threat, as well as a large hail threat again over here from New Mexico up into Wyoming. Move off into Friday, good old Friday. We got a marginal risk over here from Kansas up into Montana. So it looks like the next 3 days, there's going to be a lot of severe weather going on over here amongst the western half of the country. Other than severe weather, we got some major flooding to deal with, as a slight risk has been issued from Texas over into Tennessee and over here by Maryland. Of course, on Thursday, there's another slight risk over here in North Carolina in parts of New Mexico. And on Friday, really the same story. The Carolinas is going to be dealing with a lot more flooding, and the New Mexico is going to be dealing with some major flooding as well. Now, as far as how much rainfall you're going to be getting in on, let's go ahead and take a look at that. As we push this out to the 20th, we can see that within the slight risk for flooding zones, I expect right around 2 to 4 inches with locally higher amounts possible. Of course, within the marginal risk zones, about 1 to 3, I would say. So definitely, if you live within the flood-prone areas, make sure you're aware of this. If you see a flooded roadway, turn around and do not drown. So now let's go ahead and get into the timing of when y'all could expect the worst from the severe weather for the next few days. Take a look at this. We're going to take a look at the HRRR model. Keep in mind that date and time is up if you ever want to keep track. Keep in mind that high winds is pretty much the main threat within all the risk zones today. And large hail is going to be the primary threat over here by Colorado. Now, as it pushes forward, there's going to be a lot of flooding going on over here by Missouri. Slight risk has already been issued, by the way. There's already some flood warnings and even a flood emergency as well. Flash flood emergency for Yellenville and surrounding areas. Of course, this is in effect until 10:15 Central Time. Definitely be aware of flooded roadways. Turn around, don't drown. And if you live in a flood-prone area, please be aware of this. So now on to the timing. The worst severe weather as we push this forward. See, not much is going to be really happening except for the flooding that I was talking about earlier amongst the central half of the country. It's looking like the severe weather is going to start to ramp up as we head into the late evening, into the overnight hours over here within the slight risk zone. Now, keep in mind that high winds is going to be the primary threat within all the risk zones, and it's looking like upwards of 20 to possibly 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible over here in parts of the Northeast. Of course, over here down by Dallas, right around 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts is what I would expect. Of course, over here in the Mountain West, could expect higher wind gusts because of the higher elevations, of course. Right around 20 to 30 is expected over there. Keep in mind that high winds can be just as destructive as tornadoes. Keep that in mind, and make sure you put up anything you don't want blowing around as well. Be aware of large hail out west as well with any of these storms that are going to be rolling through. So make sure you put up anything you don't want damaged out there. And it looks like once we get past 7 o'clock, it's going to start to taper down a little bit and turn mainly into a big old flash flooding event, as there is a slight risk over here in parts of the Northeast and over here amongst New Mexico, Colorado, and even over here by Dallas. That's going to push off into Thursday. There's a couple marginal risk zones, one over here by the Carolinas and another one over here by Colorado. Push us forward. Not much is going to be happening during the early morning hours of Thursday, but it's looking like once we head into the late afternoon, into the early evening hours, it's looking like some severe is going to start to ramp up over here in the Carolinas. And it's looking like out west, the severe is going to start to ramp up during the late evening into overnight hours. So we take a look at the wind gusts, since that's going to be the primary threat within both marginal risk zones. It's looking like upwards of 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts is going to be possible by right around 4 or 5 o'clock. Some areas could be getting in on higher wind gusts. Of course, out west, the severe is going to be happening during the nighttime hours, so definitely be aware of this. Around 20 to 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts could be possible over there. So again, high winds can be just as dangerous as tornadoes. Keep that in mind. Power outages could be likely. And make sure you put up anything you don't want blowing around or damaged from large hail for the next couple of days. Now, to take a look at Thursday's timing, we don't know what the risks are going to be just yet, so make sure you go follow my X and Facebook pages, as I do daily weather forecasts on there, so make sure again to follow those pages so you keep informed. We got a marginal risk on Friday from Kansas up into Montana. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Euro for this. We're going to take a look at the lightning flash density rate. This will show us where the most intense storms could fire up at. This is not going to show y'all the exact timing or what kind of risks y'all could expect, but it shows us where the most intense storms could fire up at. And it's looking like as we head into Friday, not much going to be happening during the early morning hours, but it's looking like as we head into the early afternoon into possibly late evening hours, it's looking like that's when the most intense storms could possibly fire up at. So make sure, again, to follow my X and Facebook pages, so we'll keep you all informed on what the risks could be. So now that we know there's going to be some flooding and some severe over the next few days, it's going to take a look at the National Hurricane Center to take a look at whether or not there's any more tropical storms or hurricanes forming out there after barreled its way up into the eastern half of the country and caused a lot of tornadoes and some major flooding and high winds. Looking like in the next 48 hours, there's not much in the way of any tropical storms or hurricanes, which is actually some good news. Take a look at the Eastern Pacific. 30% chance, but I'm not expecting anybody to get impacted by this, except for maybe Hawaii, which, again, I wouldn't expect much from this at all. 30% chance, nothing really too bad. So other than that, let's go and take a look at what we could expect for the next couple of weeks. We already know we got some severe weather going on through Friday. Once we get past Friday, it's looking like much of the southeast is going to be getting in on well-needed precipitation, as well as much of the central half of the country. And it's looking like the northwest is going to be starting to dry out, unfortunately. And it's looking like much of the eastern half of the country is going to be getting on a well-needed precipitation for really the next couple of weeks. If we take a look at the drought map, we can see that much of the southeast is dealing with some sort of drought-like conditions, which y'all are going to be coming in on well-needed precipitation for the next couple of weeks. Take a look at the northwest. Unfortunately, it's looking like drought-like conditions is going to be starting to worsen. Take a look at the southwest. Looks like some drought relief is going to be in store for y'all as well. Take a look at the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Looks like much of the country is going to be well above average, except for the northwest, like I mentioned earlier, and parts of the north central part of the country, and even part of the northeast is going to be getting in on a little bit of a drought as well. Take a look at the next 8 to 14 days. Takes us all the way out towards the end of the month. Looks like about the same story. Much of the country is going to be getting in on well-needed precipitation. So now let's go ahead and take a look at what kind of temperatures we could expect for the next couple of weeks. As y'all may have heard, we could be coming in on a major cool down, and as we take a look at the Euro, we can see just that. See, as we head into the 18th on Thursday, looks like much of the north central part of the country is going to be feeling the chill in the air, actually. Unseasonably cool temperatures are going to be in store, but don't get fooled though, because it's looking like as we head towards the end of the month, it's looking like we could come in on some really scorching heat, especially out west. It's looking like really hot air is going to be in store out there, but still relatively cool out east. So it looks like some unseasonably cool air is going to be in store, which is actually some good news. But don't be fooled, though, because August is right around the corner. And as y'all know, August is pretty much the hottest month of the year. As we take a look at the Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 day outlook, they are showing us that the western half of the country is going to be feeling the heat. And it's looking like much of the eastern half of the country is going to be getting in on some heat relief. Next 8 to 14 days looks just about the same story, so get out and enjoy these nice temperatures for the next couple of weeks if you live out here amongst the eastern half of the country, because it looks like some relief from the heat is going to be in store. And of course, if y'all enjoy the heat, unfortunately, it's looking like we're coming in on a major cool down. And before I go, I forgot to mention the Atlantic Basin here on the Euro to see if any sort of tropical storms are going to be forming. And it's looking like the next couple of weeks, it's not looking like any sort of tropical storms are going to be affecting the homeland, except for just a lot of heavy precipitation amongst the southeast, which is good for the drought conditions. So it's definitely good news. And as we take a look at the sea surface temperatures, the ocean is boiling out there, which is going to be some prime conditions for hurricane development, as y'all know. So it's to be a pretty big hurricane season, and we already know that we had a Cat 5 hurricane already. It's the earliest Cat 5 on record, so definitely make sure you subscribe to this channel so you never miss an upload because of this major hurricane season getting ramped up already. And go follow my X and Facebook pages, as I do daily weather forecasts on there. So if you like today's weather forecast, please make sure you hit that like and share buttons so more folks are informed about the weather. If you have any feedback for me, leave it in the comment section down below. Any feedback helps provide you the viewer better and more informative content in the future. Also hit that subscribe button, bell notifications turned on so you never miss an upload, because here at Williams Weather, we try to make weather forecasting fun and informative. So basically, to sum up this video, it's going to be cool and soggy for much of the eastern half of the country and sort of hot and dry out west. So definitely enjoy these nice temperatures for the next couple weeks if you live out east, and of course if you live out west, it's going to be unfortunately hot, which is actually normal for this time of year because we are in summertime, y'all. So definitely get out and enjoy these nice unseasonably cool temps. So again, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate all y'all for watching, and until next time, stay safe and cool out there, y'all. Never stop forecasting.